Hi everyone. It's John and Gina, and we are on lockdown. No, we're not in lockdown. We are social distancing and quarantining. Maybe not quarantining, right? Because we're just hanging out. We're trying to stay away from people. And so, even though our pantry is pretty well stocked, we have officially run out of bread. So I thought it would be fun to show you guys my favorite way to make bread anytime, not just when you're stuck at home. And this bread is from, I have a couple books that I love. And this recipe is from The New Artisan Bread in 5 Minutes a Day. And then this is the other one they have. I don't know if they have more. Artisan pizza and flatbread in 5 minutes a day. So we're just going to do the white bread. It's called the master recipe, freeform loaf. And it's going to be like a 3-step process and not complicated, but it just, you have to do 3 different things to kind of, anyways, this makes it so that you have bread in your refrigerator all the time. And bread dough. And so you just break off a chunk and you bake it in the oven. And so it's super handy. So we start with a container that has a hole, if possible, in it. Because that allows it to breathe. I don't remember why it needs to breathe, but it does. And so you don't have to do that. You can just kind of put some, use a bowl, put some plastic wrap on or a cloth and just leave a little, bit open or something. But it needs to be kind of big because we're going to put a lot of flour and it's going to rise. And so you'll see why. But I mix it right in here. And then so, of course, this is just white bread, so it's really easy. There's one I like better that's more of a, they call it peasant loaf, and it has white and wheat and rye. And actually, I'm going to put a little wheat in this just because I have wheat. I just don't happen to have rye right now. So it starts with, actually, you know what? It starts with water, and I forgot about that. So we want to do water about 100 degrees or below. So excuse my butt. Because we want to put the water in first so that, it's kind of easier to mix. So we're going to guess at the water. How much? 3 cups. At the temperature, and then it's kind of important to take the temperature of this water. Because you don't want to do all this and then kill your yeast because it's too hot or too cold. So I'm gonna temp this water. This is probably the hardest part of the whole recipe, honestly. Is remembering
finding the thermometer.
Finding the thermometer. That's the first part, and then
we just rearranged.
Yeah.
And nothing's in the right place anymore.
And then this is probably the hardest part of the recipe. Nice. Okay, perfect. So we just don't want to kill the yeast is the point. So we throw that in there first.
And what was that temperature?
100 degrees or lower.
Awesome.
Just not higher. But not too cold either. So then we are doing all-purpose flour, 6.5 cups. And I'm just going to throw a half cup of wheat flour in there. But, okay, so we are baking technically, so we're going to do the swoop and scoop. I keep telling you guys about this. So
the point is to try not to pack the flour in the scoop as you scoop it.
Exactly. So 1. I kind of fluff it up too. 2. 3. 4. 5. What did I say? 6.5. 6. And then we'll do a 1/2 cup of wheat flour. All right. Then it calls for a tablespoon of yeast, which is a lot, but this makes probably, I can never remember how much it actually makes. We probably get 5 or 6 loaves out of here, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
They're not huge loaves, but so yeast, 1.5 tablespoons of salt. It says 1 or 1.5. I do 1.5. It's a lot of bread. And I like salt.
Don't we all?
So that's it. So I did the water, the yeast, the salt, the flour. Then I just take a rubber scraper, kind of a, sturdy guy, and I just mix it all together until it forms a dough. The first time I did this, I did it in the mixer and, all that business, and it just isn't necessary because, of course you want to get the flour mixed in there, but it doesn't need to be kneaded. So you just want to kind of work all this flour in till it's kind of raggedy, but it doesn't have to be smooth or anything. So I just keep scraping all the flour down, kind of scoop it around. Until I don't see any dry parts. And I think that's good. I think. Looks good to me.
I don't know.
I'll give it one more little, just to make sure everything's mixed in. But yeah, that's it. It gets real stiff, of course. So now we're gonna let this sit and rise for, I believe, 3 hours. Let's see. Let me make sure I'm right. Sorry, guys. I should know this. 2 hours. I lied. So 2 hours. So 2 hours. We'll come back. We'll break off a piece of this dough. And we'll show you the next step, which is you take it out, form it into a kind of a grapefruit sized ball, basically. And you let it sit basically long enough for your oven to get hot, and then you bake it. But this can be in your fridge for like 2 weeks, and you can just keep taking pieces of dough off there and baking it, or even sometimes I just throw it in a cast iron and cook it on the stove. So we'll see you in a couple hours.